Climate Tales of El Salvador. Prologue. Whispers in the Wind. El Salvador. Land of fire, ocean, and wind. Here the seasons are not simply hot and rainy. They are characters in their own right, woven into the culture, whispered about in surf shacks and sung by volcanoes. From the misty ridgelines of Chalatenango to the sultry tides of La Libertad, the climate isn't just weather. It's story, myth, and motion. Welcome to Climate Tales, a journey through 14 departments of El Salvador, where the skies speak, the rain dances, and the heat tells its own truth. In every tale, you'll discover how locals live with the moods of nature, guiding crops, festivals, surf breaks, and everyday life. This isn't your typical forecast. This is poetry, adventure, and a traveler's compass. You need to keep in mind that in El Salvador, we only have 2 real seasons. From November to April, we live in the dry season, or verano, a time of bright skies, dust-kissed roads, and open-air fiestas. Then comes invierno, the rainy season, from May to October, when the skies darken by afternoon and tropical storms become part of the daily rhythm. Rain doesn't just fall, it performs, and everything changes with it. The crops, the colors, the conversations. Let's begin our circuit around the compass rose. First, Ahuachapán, steam and shadow. In Ahuachapán, mornings hiss with the breath of the earth. Steam seeps from the ground like gossip, rising from geothermal vents near Calera de Atiquizaya, where the earth itself exhales through cracks in ancient stone. Here, the weather isn't just heat, it's geothermal personality. The dry season crackles like a matchbox, gold light, dry fields, and a quiet hum of crickets that never sleep. But wait for the rains, and the hills erupt in green, ferns, beans, and the return of the elusive turquoise-browed motmot. Locals will tell you, the rains here don't just water the crops, they carry messages from the ancestors. Stand still in the rain, and you'll hear them. 2. Santa Ana, the kingdom of clouds and fire. Santa Ana wears its weather like a layered cloak. Mist in the highlands, heat in the valleys, and the quiet threat of eruption always humming beneath the surface. The colossal volcano, Izalco, once dubbed the lighthouse of the Pacific, still looms over the land like a myth retold at every sunset. The mornings here often begin in cool silence. The crater rims of Cerro Verde cloaked in cloud forests that drip dew like melted glass. Coffee blooms white in the breeze, bees buzzing like tiny baristas at work. But descend just a few kilometers, and the heat takes hold. A dry, steady pulse that turns the ground to clay and the shade to gold. When the rainy season comes, it doesn't tiptoe. Storms roll across the sky like cavalry, drenching the cobblestone streets of Santa Ana City. The cathedral glows under rain, a Gothic dream softened by thunder. Yet through it all, Santa Ana remains grounded. A land shaped by fire, cooled by clouds, and seasoned with history. 3. Sonsonate, coastal waltz. Sonsonate dances between the coast and Sierra. On the Ruta de las Flores, the highlands burst with color in the misty chill, while down by Barra de Santiago, the sun scorches the sand until it sizzles. It's a place of contrast, a 2-step rhythm between lush hills and salty breeze. When rain clouds roll in from the Pacific, they don't just shower, they sing. Locals will tell you, the best coffee cherries swell right after the third good thunderstorm. Not before, not after. And in June, thunder becomes your wake-up call. 4. La Libertad, surf, salt, and sunburns. If El Salvador has a weather celebrity, it lives in La Libertad. The sun is always on the guest list and the waves never miss a beat. Here, climate is rhythm. Wind patterns, swell charts, sunrise glows, and the salty mist that clings to your skin long after sunset. Rainy season doesn't mean no surfing. It means heavier drops, stronger sets, and wilder nights. Punta Roca, El Tunco, El Zonte, they all speak the language of tides and sky. The locals know when the tide whispers secrets and when it shouts warnings. This is where B learned to read the weather like a surfer reads a wave, watch, feel, and move with it. 5. Chalatenango, the mountain's secret. Ah, sweet Chala, where cool breezes hug your shoulders and December feels like someone left the AC on. The pine-covered ridges here know a different kind of weather. Mountain moods, 1 minute sunny, the next, fogged in like a Sherlock Holmes novel. In the highlands of La Palma or El Pital, the sky feels close enough to touch. Locals track weather with their bones, not apps. A sharp twinge in the knees means rain by nightfall. And don't underestimate the wind. It whistles truths through the pines. 6. San Salvador, the balcony of storms. Perched like a weathered crown above the Pacific Plains, San Salvador lives in a delicate dance between fire and rain. Here, afternoons often open with calm skies and coffee-scented breezes from the Cordillera del Balsamo. But don't be fooled. As the sun slides west, clouds gather like an audience in a Roman amphitheater. Then, without ceremony, lightning slices the skyline, and a rainstorm barrels over the valley like a rock concert. In the capital, rain isn't just weather, and it's drama. Locals keep umbrellas and gossip equally handy. It's not rare to hear thunder applauded like a familiar actor returning to the stage. And when the skies finally clear, you'll find mist rising from the hills like a curtain call. 7. Cabañas, dry, dusty, and full of surprises. This is El Salvador's wild card. Cabañas may not make the front pages of travel brochures, but its climate, fierce and honest. The dry season here means dry, hills sunburnt into shades of gold, air that crackles with heat by midday. But the wet season is a revelation. When the rains do come, the land drinks deeply. Rivers swell, frogs sing, and the landscape transforms overnight into something almost lush. In Sensuntepec, thunder is considered a kind of warning bell, giving locals enough time to dash under tin roofs. The contrast is what gives this department its beauty, a place that teaches patience and rewards it with blooming jacarandas. 8. San Vicente, fog, fire, and flashes of blue. They call San Vicente the sleeping giant, thanks to the majestic Chinchantepec volcano, which anchors this land like a guardian. But the skies above are never truly asleep. The mornings are often filled with silver fog that clings to the foothills. By noon, the sun slices through like a blade. San Vicente's climate is a split personality. Cool highlands perfect for hiking, and simmering valleys that feel like a slow-cooked stew. Thunderstorms here don't sneak up. They announce themselves with rolling drums across the volcano. And yet, the sun sets? A surrealist canvas of pinks and violets, reminding you that even turbulent skies end in beauty. 9. Cuscatlan, the heartbeat of the seasons. Tucked between bustling capitals and sleepy farmland, Cuscatlan feels like a weather calendar in fast forward. Here you can drive 15 minutes and move between dry savanna heat and cool hillside drizzle. It's this microclimate magic that makes it ideal for orchards and traditional crops. Local sayings describe the rainy season as the land's second breath. Thunder sounds like a grandfather's deep laugh, and raindrops fall heavy, a sound that lulls entire towns into a midday siesta. But come December, everything softens. Breezes carry the smell of tamales and pine needles, and the air feels like a quiet exhale before the next big season. 10. La Paz, skybound tides. La Paz is a place where the sky mirrors the sea, and both seem to take cues from the moods of the moon. Along the beaches of Costa del Sol, mornings stretch long and golden, heat rising off the sand as if the earth were exhaling. The dry season here is pure theater, sunlight so sharp it feels personal, and tides that reveal secrets, driftwood, shells, and stories buried in the dunes. But come the rainy season, and La Paz becomes a song of storms. Afternoon downpours pound the coast like drums, filling estuaries and reviving the mangroves. In the fishing towns, old men watch the sky the way others read newspapers. They know the signs, the smell of salt, the silence before the deluge. Here, weather isn't just forecast, it's folklore. On Birinchi Usalutan, where volcanoes watch the rain. In Usalutan, the landscapes shift from smoking cones to steamy coastlines. The shadow of San Miguel volcano looms nearby, and the plains feel watched. Inland, the days are long and still, a heat that makes your thoughts melt. But closer to the coast, in places like Jicalisco Bay, the weather becomes movement. Sea breezes, tide rhythms, rain tapping mangrove leaves. The rainy season paints everything in high definition. Rice paddies turn emerald. The air smells of wet earth and wood smoke. But beware the suddenness. Storms gather fast and fall even faster. You learn to read the clouds like body language. Locals say the volcano decides the weather. You just live around its moods. 12th, San Miguel, the city of fire and steam. San Miguel burns in every sense of the word. It is one of the hottest cities in El Salvador, where even the shadows sweat. Mornings begin with a glare and afternoons simmer like a pot about to boil over. It is a place of sun-hardened earth, of mango trees gasping in the heat. Yet when the rains arrive, they come with vengeance. Lightning dances across the lowlands, and thunder shakes tin roofs like dice in a gambler's hand. The people here are weather-hardened. They know how to work in the sun and wait out the rain. At night, the volcano glows faintly in the distance. A reminder that weather isn't the only force that shapes San Miguel. 13. Morazan, mist over memory. In Morazan, the rain is a historian. This is a land of lush forests, misty mornings, and mesmerizing hills. Her queen wakes in silence most days, fog draped across the treetops like a curtain that lifts slowly with the sun. Rain is frequent but gentle, like the land trying to soothe its past. The dry season doesn't last long, and even then, dew clings to every leaf. The rivers here tell time. Their rise and fall mark the seasons, and their currents carry both memory and renewal. Weather in Morazan is less about drama, more about rhythm. 14. La Union, salt, wind, and volcanoes. La Union is El Salvador's eastern frontier, a land where the Pacific meets the edge of the country, and the weather has no fences. Here, wind is a constant companion. The Gulf of Fonseca churns under shifting skies, and the islands seem to float between cloud and sea. In the dry months, salt clings to your skin and the horizon shimmers. Rain comes late but hard, falling in vertical sheets that soak the parched soil in minutes. Conchagua volcano stands sentinel over it all, its peak catching the first rain clouds and the last sun rays. For fishermen, weather is more than backdrop, it is currency. And they've learned to navigate it like old friends who know when not to talk.